Let's go! And this is the Underground. We're back at you for another one. Here on this July 30th, 2025. Mic check 1 2. Good evening. I hope all is well. As soon as I see some 5x5s flying, that we're all good on the audio. Thank you, E-Fits. Quick to it. Meat Puppet, Wayne, everybody out there, Bones, Bulletproof, Cannibal. I ran that neck of the woods for a long time, brother. Richard, D. White, Wolf Club in the house, Cecil with us. My Knights, Brian, Raymond, Barb in Ohio. A lot of cats from Ohio, KY. Much love to everybody out there. Albert in house. Christ is King. Good to see everybody. Hope all is well. If you missed it, we were live last night. We had the big earthquake pop off. Got some updates on that and quite a few other stories we'll touch on here tonight. Try to get them knocked out as quickly as possible, smoothly as possible. Here on this one, Venice Beach in house. Much love. And I thank all you guys out there that share the stream. Yeah, Susie Q. Another Susie Q. Got a mod Susie Q. Michelle, Susie Q, and Joe, Tiff, Let It Burn, Frank. All right. So if you want to get anything to me, dabu7 at yahoo.com is the email. You can at me there in the chat. Lights it up in red. Helps me to see it if you got something specific. Make sure you're following me over on X as well, because a ton of updates get kicked out there. And that you're subscribed here on YouTube and you hit that bell notification, because a lot of people get unsubscribed. I even have my own mods get unsubbed and everything else. The censorship, when you're dealing with me, it's a whole different animal. Some people talk about it and say it and this and that, but like we really live it. And it's something else. If you want to stay in the loop, make sure you're doing all that. And just check in on my channels on the daily. That's the best bet. Stop in between 12 and 1. Guaranteed every day. I'm dropping something on whatever's popping off. And Missy, thank you for the super chat. Right at the gate here tonight. I appreciate it to the fullest. And we'll jump over to the earthquake, get some updates on that. This was a massive event. Japan, they say, may have overreacted just a little bit, but it was better to overreact than to get wiped out by a tsunami. They had an initial report saying, and I shared them on the stream right off Fox News, saying that they had 9-foot waves heading their way. And, you know, we were tracking these waves coming across the ocean, the buoys, and you could see that when it got midway, halfway to Hawaii, that there was a 7-foot wave. So we knew at that point there was at least a 7-footer heading toward Hawaii. Now, Hawaii, certain places, they seen a little bit of the flooding come in and everything else, but nothing saw, what I can tell, the devastation that Russia took initially. The coastline, all those towns and cities that we showed on the stream last night. Mr. Abertazzi, thank you. God bless you. Much love. Jeff, thank you for gifting that membership. Whoever got it there, welcome to the underground. So whenever you see an earthquake of this magnitude, you've got to pay attention. And it seemed like at first glance, people were just kind of like ignoring it. And this thing jumped from initially an 8, which is a big earthquake, to an 8.7, and then to an 8.8. It just kept climbing. You normally don't see that. So when it did that, it was like, all right, had to go live and get some coverage on it last night. Thank you, Frank. Much love. I don't think there was much damage done anywhere outside of the Russian coast there, which was very unique. When I was on the stream last night, we looked at the ocean floor there. It's known that there's submarine bases and stuff right there that Russia has. But when you look at the floor, the ocean floor right here, specifically right where the earthquakes popped off, like right in the cove, and then back here, even where the other quakes are in that cove, there's these very, very long lines that look like tubes. They're straight in whatever direction they're running. They change directions and they're kind of all over the place, but they don't, it's like not natural. And it's right in the place where they have this underwater base. So you can see the stuff from the satellite imagery. They can't hide everything, man. Quantum, thank you, man. Hey, much love. I appreciate it. Missy, again, thank you. If you did miss it, here's a look here at some of those initial tsunami waves that came through. This was in Russia. And you can see the buildings getting hit. You can see all types of stuff getting washed away. Buildings getting washed away. Items, all types of stuff that was sitting out, all getting washed away. We witnessed individuals getting trapped in their vehicles, which is pretty scary. Um, in a lot of these towns on the coast got flooded out. Um, Drone footage and all that was showing that, but really that was like the worst of it. And some buildings took some damage. Yeah, God be with us all, that's for sure. Um, Let me jump to this next one because it says that this 8.8 magnitude earthquake sparked a volcanic eruption in Russia. So when you got these big events, man, these things happen. And tsunami warnings are spread out all the way across the Pacific, Hawaii, California, all those places. This is tied for the sixth largest earthquake on record. At an 8.8, there is two other quakes that come in at an 8.8 as well from years past. And the 9-pointer that hit here in the same spot in like 1952, the same area of Russia, it killed like 2,000 people. Every little bit of magnitude that you go up from like, I mean, in the scale period, but like from 7 up to 8, it is drastically different than the increase from 6 to 7. And going from 8 to 9 is drastically different than the lower level. So when this thing dialed up to an 8.8, heading toward 9, again, it raised a lot of eyebrows. Now, we may not be out of the woods here yet with this. You never know what can happen here around the Ring of Fire. It seems like some places are long overdue. Our west coast of the United States, it's well known at this point. It's long overdue for the big one. And you've got San Andreas, you've got the Cascadia, you got the Juan de Fuca that runs off there. All these other connectors in the mix. And I don't know, man. When I looked at the top 10 earthquakes and I seen how they were spread out around the globe, I can't help but say that the West Coast stood out to me. It was blank. It hadn't been hit. There was no recorded massive quake that's hit there. And that area, they say right now, can easily produce a 9-pointer. It's just been quiet for all this time. We've been fairly lucky. I think our luck's about to run out at some point, though. It's bound to happen, unfortunately. The Cascadia runs from out in the ocean to on land, and then cuts down into California. That thing's a monster. And when it goes, it's going to cause a lot of problems. Now, you also have, off the West Coast right now, coming to life is the axial seamount. It is the largest underwater active volcano out there right now off the West Coast in the same region. So if it was to blow, it could set off an earthquake, or an earthquake could set off it, just like we're seeing here. Just a massive amount of swarming going on in Russia. Wow. It's, I mean, look at this. Look at that. That is just, that's just crazy. Like, and these are not small quakes, man. These are, 3, 4, 5s. All nice sized quakes, man. Hitting in this area. Here, let me go ahead and show you Look at this. Look. Look. This is what I was telling you. You see these lines? See these straight lines that run in this area that like do not seem natural? It almost seems like something laid out on the ocean floor. Well, Russia has an underwater submarine base right here. And look at this one. Look at the angle this one cuts. It cuts the sharp angle right here, and it goes straight. These things look man-made, and all these quakes are happening right in this exact area. There is an underwater Russian submarine base right here. And look at that. After finding out about the base, that's just really had me like wondering about a lot, especially with this whole war and everything going on here. Now look, I've been doing this a long time. Let's go back to the Japan quake. When the Japan quake happened, if you don't know what was happening in the news back in that time, let me take you back in time, was that there was talk of these dragon families, these powerful families around the world in cahoots, and that actually Japan and China were talking about working together on a currency. And the United States openly had warned Japan, like, dude, you better not even think about it. Like, you better not even think about it. And they were about to do a deal and do something with China. And then they got rocked by this quake. And right out the gate, there were some circles saying that, man, that shelf right there off the coast, it could have been triggered. And somebody could have done something to initiate, to pop that fault, and to cause what happened there. I bring it up because, I mean, what are the odds? I mean, look at the swarm. This is crazy. And if somebody didn't do it, it's just bad luck on Russia's behalf. I'm telling you now, their base had to get damaged. We seen what the damage it did on the surface. I don't know. It'd be wild to be in a base underwater and have one of the largest earthquakes ever hit. I mean, right there, epicenter, right where you're at. Just saying, man, that's a massive swarm. It's ongoing, and you see how it's got quakes moving down the line. We could see activity pop up. It's like a chain event anywhere. Alaska, could see it. There's been odd swarming off the coast of Canada, and then immediately when the big quake hit, like within that same window, the first hour, right when the big one hit, these quakes hit off the coast of California. 3.6, like 4.8, 4.9. And then look, let me show you here the importance of this. When I'm telling you about these lines, I mean, look, these hit hard. These popped up coinciding with this massive quake. So there was a connection. And we've seen this before. It's not too surprising. But look, this is the Juan Fuca plate. This big Z. This big unnatural looking like cut right off the Pacific Northwest coast. And the axial seamount sits right out here too. Okay? So notice how the quake activity is hitting right on this, on the line, on the Z, so to speak. On the cut. This happens often. And it's just something to pay attention to, because this thing can come to life with big quakes. And yeah, man. That swarm is no joke up there. Indonesia getting some activity. North of New Zealand and south of New Zealand seeing big quake activity as well. Serpent Heads fired back up. And then we also got some Mid-Atlantic Ridge activity over here, which is off the east coast of the United States. You're not used to seeing that. Let's go ahead and get a login. So show me this. So it'll show me some magnitudes here. .9. So, if that was a 7, it could set off a tsunami, and it would be seen and felt on the east coast of the United States. People are not used to that, but it could. Only other thing that would really produce it outside of this line, because this is where all the quakes hit. They don't hit here, 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 here. They never do. They always hit on this line, Mid-Atlantic Ridge line that runs down. If the Canary Islands had an eruption and there was a landslide, it could generate a tsunami as well that could affect the East Coast. But those would be the two big culprits outside of some kind of impact or a tsunami bomb, which would be a bomb let off right here as close as they could get strategically, say Russia, underwater, and they have this stuff, to release an underwater torpedo or bomb or something that detonates underwater with a planned blast radius and size and all that would produce a planned wave that would be a certain size. I think that this would be a good time to share with you, because I think some people are like living in a false reality when it comes to some of the stuff, what's going on here. That like waves can't get super big like you see in the movies. Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. And they can swallow cities. It's very rare. It's true. I'm going to show you some of the biggest waves on record, and you're going to see what could happen at any time. Here's a quick look here at the Cascadia subduction zone. Okay. You can see how it runs right along down through here. And there's that one-day Fuca. See how it zigs and zags right there? And that activity I just showed you is hitting like right there. It cuts down in right past Eureka, California. Right off the coast of Eureka, right here is where you've seen all those quakes hitting. The 4.9, 3.6, right after the big one hit. And then the Mendocine fracture zone, that's a huge fracture line that runs all the way out and across. You can see in the imagery as well. But Cascadia, man, will cause so much of a problem up here to the West Coast if it decides to unzip. Doesn't get enough attention. Oh, look at what we got here. I got to point this out. This is some of the Mossad's youth up here performing their black magic ritual. Where's this at? This is at the Alaska Mosque. You see the Temple Mount back there? See the Golden Dome? This is spells. You do this before you attack. They do this before they attack. Do you see what they're doing? I told you this before. They're getting closer and closer doing this every day. They're sneaking up, like breaking in. They're sneaking up, and they're doing their chants and their spells. And all of this is to work toward them claiming this territory in a site. This is where they want to build this temple, this third temple. I told you, I warned you, I've said it before. Now you visually can see what they're doing. They're sending kits up there so they don't shoot at them or do anything else. Because then if they do, they'll blow them the holy hell. If they shoot one of these kids, they will literally, then they'll have the excuse that they want it. Then they'll have the excuse to wipe that off the Temple Mount. Look, dude, I'm telling you, man, this stuff, man, we're dealing with dark evilness. I've never seen so much hatred get taught to a youth in my life as I have when it comes to the peoples over here. It's nuts. Here it is. This is what I was wanting to show you. Indian Ocean, 2004. In case you missed it, it generated 100-foot wave. And let's think about that. Sit there and look at a 10-foot basketball goal, times that by 10, up high. How high of a wave that is to come crashing in on you on a beach or anywhere, 100-foot wave. And that's the smallest on the scale. Okay? So you need to realize any one of these cities could get swallowed in the right circumstances. They could literally get swallowed. And people wouldn't believe their eyes. When this whole thing came out, they literally would not believe their eyes. A wall of water as big as what I'm showing you. We're starting with 100-foot. And thank you, Boomer, for the coffee. Appreciate it to the fullest. That is the best way to support the show. All appreciated to the fullest. We finish playing this here. We go to the next one. This is Tohoku 2004, 130 feet. These are ones that happened. 1936, 230 feet. 65 million years ago, the Chicxulub Mega, 100 meter or 330 feet. That's the Statue of Liberty right there. It stands at 310 feet. It would have just wiped it out. Okay? It's from 65 million years ago. An event that took place. All right. So 2004 Indonesia 100-foot, man. That was a sight that many people, you didn't have to live through it or deal with it, but anyone that did, it would have been crazy. Would have been absolutely crazy. All right, now let's keep going. The St. Helens Mega, 1980. The wave, 656 feet. Okay? These things that have already happened on record, man. Vachant Dan Mega, 1963, 820 feet. Keep in mind, there's a little old Statue of Liberty getting smaller and smaller. And imagine this wave coming up on your coastline, hitting your city. Imagine if that rolled through New York City right now. It would devastate it right there. It'd wipe everything out. Let's keep going. Next, look at this. Latuya Bay. This happened in 1946, man. 1,700-foot wave. Taller than the Empire State Building. It would have wiped the whole city out. These have happened on record, man. Okay? So you want to think it's just in the movie, seeing a wave taller than the city coming in at you? No, it can happen. It can happen. It's done happened. It's happened within the past 100 years. It's all about circumstance, the situation, the place, all that. So I'm telling you, I say this because what got me here was the talk of a tsunami bomb. And you can really do it. Anyone could detonate it off the coast, out in whatever territory, off out of international water or whatever, out 100 miles or more off our coast, and it would do, they could get the result that they want. The problem I have with that is a tsunami bomb doesn't just take out like New York City. It takes out Boston. It takes out NYC. It takes out every single coastal city running down through there if done properly. It takes them all out at the same time. It would be a disaster that in one blow would take out multiple cities. It would be the second, to me, it'd be the second option on a scale of taking out America. Because number one would be to blanket out with the EMP. If you really wanted to do it, you would hit it with the EMP, large scale. You would take out every city. Like China said, we wouldn't have to hit you with all kinds of bombs. We'd hit you one time and it would be over. They said that. It's on record. Same China that's embedded in all of our infrastructure. Yeah, that's right. Kathy, thank you for the coffees. Much love. God bless. All right, going to pull this off to the side. Oh, and I'm going to throw up here. Shut down the earthquake map. I'm going to throw up here an update real quick here. Smoke can be seen billowing from a fire in East Valley. This is DOT camera showing this. This is in Arizona. Chandler Fire Department says it's burning south of Loop 202 in Kyrene at an RV dealership. So people were wondering what was going on here. There's a look at it. RV dealership doesn't look to be some kind of toxic chemical plant or anything like that. At least from what we know now. I mean, who knows what they got in that lot, but R.I.P. Johnny Buckholz, B.J. Reeves. All right, this goes with the whole thing with people evacuating from the tsunami. If you guys don't know, in Hawaii, Oprah has this big compound, all this land, this area, and there's a road that runs through there that people should be able to access in case of an emergency. And it's shut down and controlled by her security guards on other days. And people are complaining, saying that because of her, this is a fact. Like, she's already busted. She's trying to do damage control, saying they opened it up after the National Guard said something, but this is way too late. Just that the hours went by, mass hours of gridlock traffic, and all kinds of people got this on video, and people complaining for hours while the road stayed closed. And then eventually, yeah, they did open it up, but it was like too late at that point. You know, traffic done opened up, and it was just like too little too late. And like, if there was a 100-foot tsunami wave coming in, a bunch of people that could have got out of there would not have, because of Oprah and them. It's just nuts. Talk about anxiety. Wall of water rushing towards you guys. Just say it's 100 foot, and you got to sit in that traffic. Like, no way. Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. Like, you get washed away. Like, 100-foot wave comes through. You better have more of a plan than that. This is what we've talked about for all these years. When chaos ensues, when tragedy strikes, when something breaks loose like this, unexpected, you do not want to be the person caught in this. 100-foot wave, they're all dead. Didn't make it to higher ground. Then Oprah would be in a bunch of crap. It'd be all kinds of crap going down. And she still might be. People could probably sue her for this emergency situation. Like, in emergencies like that, like, everything should have been open and available to get people out of there. Not being stubborn. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, we see how these elites work. They're always working against the people, not for them. And to hell with her. She's just a part of the club that doesn't care about nobody. It's obvious at this point. Wonder how many times she was to Epstein Island. Right? So let's go to this next one. A much love to Tacos and everybody out there in Colorado, Steve, and all my folks out there. You got a tornado touchdown above 7,000 feet in Colorado. And those mountains get big out there, but they're not used to seeing this. And it just shows you how patterns are changing, and things like this can happen. So you can see the shots there of this tornado. It didn't seem to have done a lot of damage or anything. I don't see any reports of a lot of damage, but just the fact they're spinning up at 7,000 feet, it's got people like, whoa. But, when it comes to them, it's all about, cool and hot air mixing. And to be honest, in the middle of summer, hot air everywhere, and then being up at cooler altitude, I mean, isn't somewhere around there hot and cold going to end up mixing at some point? Um, it seems like it'd be destined to happen at some point somewhere. It seems 7,000 feet is where the tornado spawned in this instance. But check this out. We've been under heat domes, and I'm hoping tonight and into tomorrow is the end of it. And then we get a break finally. You're talking upper 70s, lower 80s for many people. Getting out of these 90s and in these nasty temperatures. These heat domes finally out of here. And the dog days of summer, hopefully, we can put in the rear view. When it just gets too hot, that hot, deadly hot, it's just not enjoyable. So once that peaks out of the way, things start to cool down a little bit. You can get more done outside. Just all in all, you can open the windows, as they're saying here, and you can shut off the AC because the cool air be rolling in. And I don't know about all that for everywhere, but it will be high 70s, lower 80s up through this region coming up here in a few days. Looking forward to that. Yeah, well, Pamela says, please talk about New York's destruction printed on the $100 bill. Well, yeah, when you fold up the money, okay, if you guys don't know, you can fold up most of your bills and you'll see two towers smoking. They telegraphed to us forever 9/11. You know how many decades have gone by since then? But you can also fold up the money and you see what looks to be like a tidal wave coming in on a city, which many would assume it's New York City. And that's what she's talking about. You can look it up, and that's real deal. They telegraphed it all and hidden it all in plain sight. So, look, I'll take whatever good things we can get in this evil-ass world. That's for sure. And this is interesting. There's deaths, yes. I mean, we had New Mexico, we had Texas, New Mexico, different places getting hit with weather events and people dying. But all in all, per the numbers, this is what it's showing. The lowest 6-month human death toll from bad weather since records began. The first half of 2025 has seen the smallest number of deaths related to extreme weather since records began. And more weird weather news, despite boiling seas, all 4 Northern Hemisphere ocean basins in the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific are running below average in terms of their cycles. They were calling for an uptick in a very active hurricane season. We haven't seen much. In the tornadoes, there wasn't. We've seen worse in years past, I will say, from reports. Just last year was worse. But we've seen crazy weather events. Don't get it twisted. We've still seen all the way up through this year crazy weather events. It's just the death toll. We got lucky here through this stretch. Was the lowest on record. So it's only going to, with me saying that, if you were to go back and find the last time it was lowest, what happens after that? It goes through the roof. Right after it goes through the record through the roof. And then it stays high, stays higher. So you can expect it to be the death tolls to be higher from here, regardless, just from patterns, which is what I look for all the time. I wanted to point this out. I don't get my prayer in every single day because some days you wake up and the day flies by and it goes by, it's done. And I may have forgot to thank the Lord, but I try every single day to thank God for another day, for everything, for all the knowledge, the blessings, and all that. Um, and especially every day when I stream, I definitely, before I go live, that's exactly what I do. I ask the Lord to be with me, help gather His people, deliver the message He wants me to deliver, and to get this working. Uh, so I mean, I do mine, but that's me. I know a lot of you out there pray, but when it comes to the most out there in the world, Indonesia is at the top of the list. 95% of the population prays daily. Okay? Now, I would like to say that, excuse me. I know, excuse me. Choked on the water there. I know a lot of people out there pray all around the world in certain areas, but these are just the average numbers. You've got Kenya at the top of the list, then Nigeria, then Malaysia, then the Philippines, Brazil, Bangladesh, Ghana, Sri Lanka, Colombia, India, South Africa, Turkey, Peru, Singapore. Then the US and Mexico are tied with 44%. So that's where we sit. You going down the list, like you find Canada's 30%, UK's 21%. And I know I got my cats in the UK that pray and that believe. I know you do because you say it and I see it and you believe. But I was astonished when one of my buddies from the UK was like, "Look, mate, like nothing against it, but like I was never brought up like that, um, and it felt bad." And they were like, "But I'm all open to learn and to listen and this and that." I'm just like, "Yo, I just I don't know, maybe I just took it for granted that they seen it the same way we did and all this, but like some cats are just not taught about Jesus in other countries the way that you think." And I found that out in a weird way. And right here, I say that because UK only 21% of their population prays. Again, that reflects with my friend that told me this because I was like, "Look, everybody in here believes about Jesus." We were in a group and we were talking and this and that. And he's like, "Oh, well, he apologized because he just wasn't taught about it or anything." And he went on to explain that a lot of the people around him and in his country where he grew up, his experience were more atheist leaning, and it blew me away. And that was just one person that I know that told me. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it shocked me in a bit. All right, gonna shift over here. Yeah, there is power in prayer. Got that right. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz activates the National Guard after a massive cyber attack hits the city of St. Paul, targets its infrastructure, and apparently has crippled it. They have opened up a triage type command center in the city of St. Paul. They're saying that an out of the country malicious actor has done this, that it's not a glitch. They held this emergency press conference and they said that we're entering a state of emergency, calling in the cybersecurity teams that are part of the National Guard first to see if they can help solve this. They're saying it was a sophisticated external actor that intentionally did this and has targeted the city's information infrastructure. So I'm here to tell you right here tonight that we have a U.S. city that is crippled. They're trying not to make a huge deal out of it, but it is. If they did this to a dozen cities at one time, it would shock everybody. But because this keeps happening just one at a time, people just turn a cheek to it. Like, oh, it's not happening in my city. Because that's how complacent people are these days. It's sad. It's sick. People are like, oh, it doesn't concern me. So they're just off to whatever else. You just wait till the lights go out. There's a rude awakening coming. Some of these people ain't going to survive the first 2 weeks of what's coming. Nightmare stuff's coming in the offing, but it doesn't matter if I told you it or not. People still won't listen. I've been trying to get people ready for decades, and they still don't listen. So I'm at a point now to where, like, if you never listen, then you never listen, and like, time's up. Like, big event is about to pop off. Like, we're in the window. I'm gonna play this clip here. About this incident, so you can see what's going on here.
In the early hours of Friday, July 25th, our cybersecurity protection systems detected suspicious activity on our city's network. That alert triggered an immediate and coordinated response led by Deputy Mayor Jamie Tincher, Office of Communications, Technology and Communications Director Jamie Wascalis, Chief Information Security Officer Stephanie Horvath, and Emergency Management Director Rick Shute. Working closely with state leaders and private cybersecurity experts, our teams quickly moved to investigate, assess, and contain the situation. We now know that this was not a system glitch or technical error. This was a deliberate, coordinated digital attack carried out by a sophisticated external actor, intentionally and criminally targeting our city's information infrastructure. From the moment this threat was identified, we've taken swift action to defend our systems and protect our community. We've activated the city's Emergency Operations Center to coordinate a whole-of-government response. We've retained 2 national firms with deep cybersecurity expertise to support our recovery. And we're working closely with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, to trace the source and scope of the breach.
So you can see there, large scale. And they've opened up this emergency center. And they're under attack. They're under attack right now as we speak. As we speak. Is it going to be someone else tomorrow? We are in 2025, which is a squared year, if you don't know. Okay? Well, what that means, well, I played a video last night. I believe it was on last night's stream. That it may have been the stream before. I can't remember. It was one of the last 2 streams. It was a clip of the year 2025 and why it's special. It's because it's a perfect square year. It take all these different numbers. They give all these different examples of all this different stuff. But it only happens like every once in a lifetime. Like it was like 100 years ago. Last time or something, like it's a 2116, I think, is the next time it's going to happen. So it's like a once in a lifetime window. And like where everything is aligned for something to happen. And I'm telling you, in windows like that, these clowns do big events. It's just how they operate. They operate on the motto of as above, so below. The macro and the microcosm. Okay? And for people that were never taught anything about this or nothing about that, it's going to just be over your head. But this is the religious belief. This is how they operate. 9/11 was executed the same way, and many, many other events the same way. They match an event that takes place in the heavens. And normally this has to do with the retrograde of an object or a planet in the heavens. Retrogrades mean it's, the devil works opposite and mirror of everything God does. And this is basically what they're mimicking here below as what's happening in the heavens. and they're waiting for these windows, just like on 9/11, Mercury was on retrograde, and I think it was going through Aquarius at the time. Whatever it was going through, it signaled a huge change, a turn for war, all these things astronomically, and they played it out. They played it out down here on Earth. Do you understand? Do you understand? This is how they do this. It's one huge occult ritual, just like lockdowns were. You see? This is real. You're dealing with witches and warlocks and wizards that are running this whole place, mafia style. In tandem with the jinn, with the dark spirit force on the other side, which they're in cahoots with, which gives them their power and makes it all possible to run this game on us. You see, it's against the rules. There's rules to the game. Well, semi against the rules. Apparently, you can do it. You can cast a circle, and you can write the name of the jinn down, like Azazel or whoever else, and you can do like the Knights Templar, and you can call upon these jinn, and you can go down the dark path. But that's what you're told not to do. You're told to hold on to the Holy Spirit and use that to counter all this evil and wickedness in this planet, and to master all these things that are trying to overcome you. That's why you're here. It's what you're meant to do. Not to sit there like a bump on a log. You're supposed to be refining your soul in your spiritual journey. But what do you know about that? You've never been taught anything about it. You know, we luckily have Jesus to hold on to, and we know about it and all this other stuff. They didn't eradicate the knowledge and all this stuff, and all the teachings of Yeshua and all the prophets. Man, this place is evil, man. And it doesn't matter where I'm at in a stream, what news it is. There's always one thing that's more important than all of it, and it's getting you out of here, where you don't never have to come back to here. You don't never have to cycle back into this place. And there's a way out. With it getting all mushy and Bible thumping and all this other stuff, there's a way out. And those that seek it, you will find. I promise you. But I'm not going to cast my pearls amongst swine anymore, as I've been told. But I drop the crumbs and I drop the knowledge all the time, and have. Anyone that wants to know more, you can always reach out to me. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's not many that are here trying to elevate. I figure if you seek it, you will seek it, and you will find. And I'll see that. If not, you're just be onto another video, onto other entertainment, and you're not concerned about getting out of here. It's all about how you live. You don't just go to church every Sunday and act like you're some good Christian and play this other game. And it didn't work like that. Didn't work like that. It's the way you live your life on a daily basis. How you treat others, how righteous you are, what you do with your body, with your temple, what you consume, everything, all of it. And if you're ignoring all that, then you're just ignoring it all. Some people will circle back around. Maybe when it's too late, maybe not. I don't know how much time we got left, but everybody awakens at their own pace. If you can do it when you're 22 years old, you'd be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Better than it happening when you're 30 or 40 or 50 or on your deathbed. But as long as you get the truth before you die. That's the whole goal here. But I'm giving it to you now. Like the whole mysteries of life, like this life is what you make of it. You can speak things into existence. You were never taught that, neither. But yes, you were. Right? It was hidden in code. Your Bible, your basic information before leaving Earth, left code, basic caveman information for you. Okay? For an intelligent mind that can elevate and operate on a higher level, you can decipher what is there, and you can see clearly. someone was telling you in the very beginning that God spoke everything into existence. He said, let there be light. He said, he said, he said, he said. All right, class, as if this is a spiritual kindergarten class, do we see now? Someone was trying to tell us that you have a power to speak things into existence. Just as he did. This is the truth. The law of attraction, all these things are very real, but used for all the wrong reasons for so many people, and the devil's out here. Let's keep it pushing. I dove into the deep end pretty quick, didn't I, tonight? And I'll circle back around as is toward the end here. Yeah, the light, knowledge, if you don't know, information travels on angles of light. Stop and think about that. Look it up, type it up. Just type it in Google. Ask Grok right now. Is it true? Information travels on angles of light? Just do it. Angles, angels, angles, angels. Okay? At some point, you're going to have to see how this place works. I constantly am trying to lift the veil. All right, so the U.S. copper prices crashed most on record. This is good for anybody that's going to buy copper or have to do anything involving copper, but our market's a wreck. Our economy's a wreck. Everything is going downhill in every sector for the most part. It's been this way for a minute. Inflation really is what's driving everyday life, the cost of living for everybody and everything. Inflation is just, it's wrecked everything. So Jerome Powell came out today and says, oh, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. And Trump gets all huffy puffy and, wants to blame him for all this stuff. And, but doesn't fire him, doesn't replace him. It's all a show. It's all a puppet show. Okay. This whole tariff thing, all this stuff, it really affects us. I told you this in the beginning. The black magic is so deep here that, like, when it comes to the economy here, like the tariffs, they affected us. Like, all these people were like, oh, he's putting tariffs on China and Africa and all that. Like the hell with them. Doesn't affect me. Well, no. Yeah, it does affect you. You're ignorant. Somehow, some way, some magic trick, black magic, as I see, they tricked and fooled the people out there to think somehow, immediately, right out the gate, the tariffs on other countries means that that country's paying that percentage. But that's not the case. It's anything that you buy, the American from that country, has a tariff percentage jacked up that much. That is how it works. Okay? So I explain it all the time, but the main part of the masses don't seem to get it. It's the same group that got played with the CBDC thing and everything else, where Trump said, oh, executive order, there's going to be no CBDC. And he turned around and gave blockchain with the other hand. They're that ignorant. They're that ignorant that it's all working. So if this is all working, if they want to be that stupid, then the beast is just going to keep on pushing it on them. Unfortunately, when they're the mass of our people here, it's not good for us. Like, we're screwed. Fortunately, Epstein came along, the whole thing, and kind of cracked the foundation of this whole MAGA occult thing. And thankfully, it's like a watershed moment. It's actually the one thing that I've seen that it's like the chink in their armor, their Achilles heel. It's the one thing that they can't get rid of. They can't get it off of no matter what they do. And at this point, it's like, if the whole Trump thing starts to flatten out, it doesn't matter. They will lie and say all this. I caught Trump on a clip trying to say, oh, my numbers are up 4%. Like the people just they didn't care about that. They don't care about Epstein, and that proves it. And it's just like, dude, you're such a lying piece of work, man. I can't stand none of them. I can't stand them. I see who the evil is on this planet. I see who's orchestrating it, who's responsible for it. I see who's not righteous. That's for sure. And I'm ashamed. Genocide happening every day, and our leadership is down with it. Like, what do you think they really care about us? Are you kidding me? Going and cleaning out, like, same powers to be that brought down towers that my American people jumped from. You know, Trump was in a tower on a high floor watching it that day. Front row seats. Front row seats. For an occult ritual. Dude just don't know when to shut his mouth sometimes. All of them are like that, thankfully, because the truth slips out. Just like Elon Peter Thiel saying they're summoning the demon and all this other stuff, the truth comes out. Where are we at here? Check the time. Oh, top of the hour. Let me give a shout out to anybody coming in. Make sure to subscribe. I appreciate you guys joining us for the live show. Cracking into a lot of stuff. Still haven't even got into any of the major headlines. The title. Getting ready to. Here in the second hour. If you got anything you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. At me in the chat there. And a thank you to anyone out there that supports the channel. Buy me a coffee, PayPal, anything like that. It's all appreciated to the fullest. And you see here. All right, let's go with this. The Las Vegas economy is tanking. You guys know this? Over the years, specifically for whatever reason, when lockdowns happen, I've seen several different individuals that I knew go to Vegas. A couple of which I had to unfriend because they were supporting all the lockdown stuff, the jabs and all that crap. And I was just like, well, just see ya. But I've seen quite a few people go to Vegas. And unfortunately, though, and some of you out there listening are in Vegas, man. The economy there's tanking, and maybe you can speak to it if you live there, and what's going on in the area around, like jobs, this and that, but all around economy is tanking. Now, this is built on tourism, all the casinos, this and that. And what they're citing largely here is that the people are not showing up to spend their money, and that the rich that show up are being tighter with their money. And that this is leading to hotels, rooms not getting booked. And in turn, they're laying people off. So jobs are just getting wiped out. It's what they're calling the new downturn that has begun in Vegas. And it's a sign that the city's not healthy, and it's a sign of the country. They say because this is where everyone kind of goes to play, so to speak, the adult Disneyland, whatever they call it, Devil's Playground here, Sin City. People go there, let loose, spend some money, have fun, and they're saying that right now, everything is bad. Huge downturn in tourism, hotel occupancy, visitor numbers, and spending. It's all slipping. They're saying that despite all the nonsense you hear on CNBC and CNN, the truth is that the U.S. economy is rapidly going in the wrong direction. So I don't have, cable TV. I don't know what they're telling the people out there. But how can you be buying it? Whatever they're saying, like just go to the store. Look at what everything costs. Call somebody up in another state that you know. Ask them what's going on there. Probably going to tell you the same thing. It's not going to be good times. A lot of people feeling it. Vegas, just a sign of the times. Just wanted to point it out, man. And here we go with a major story here. They're talking about an overlooked vulnerability that could cripple our power grid and the country. This is something we've talked about before, but we say these things and we talk about them, but like, what does anybody ever do about it? Like, what do politicians, what does the government, what does anybody out there ever do to fix these things? Well, when it comes to transformers, this is a huge issue. They're saying that U.S. transformers go through a wait time that was 50 weeks. That's crazy. 50 weeks to have to wait. An emergency hits the United States, takes out stuff, transformers go down, you have to wait 50 weeks. That's where we were. But guess what? It's way worse than that now. It's jumped to 127 weeks. This is a setup. You know how many people will die? The grid goes down in that window before you ever see a transformer. It's 127 weeks. It was already bad enough 50 weeks. A ton of people be dead. Depending on climate, the whole situation. But this isn't something that most people think about. But it's a real deal. We need. We just went past what they call Earth Overshoot Day just a couple days ago, and that's the point in the year where we've consumed all that the Earth can provide for us. That's what that means. And it used to be like back in the 70s, like all the way. It was in December. It was like at the end of the year, and like it's moved all the way up to July now. This keeps getting closer and closer to where you're only 6 months into the year and you've already consumed everything that the Earth can give you for a year. That is a very bad situation. A very bad situation. Yeah. Change does start in the heart. It turns out here that we get a lot of this and expect to get all this from who? Our number one enemy, China. This setup. We're done. We're done. And you can't continue to operate like that on the world stage, period. So when the grid does go down and a new one goes up, it cannot be one that is dependent on components. So what you're talking about is this grid has to go down. It's old, it's frail, it's going to go down. It's in the manner of which they replace it. Like what kind of technology? We're seeing like Trump ordered all these places that was going to be AI that they had to have their own power plant, which was crazy. It was unprecedented. Never has any company ever been told that, oh, if you're going to build your building there, you got to create your own power plant for it. But yet that's what they did. Which tells you and shows you that they are preparing for this moment right there. They're making sure that all these plants don't go offline, that they have their own power generation right there on site while the rest of us go in the dark. It's happening right in front of your faces, man. Why do you dare make a move like that or make an order like that? Why? Well, I just told you why. You know where this is going. They're not perfect. We know a lot of the enemy's playbook. We don't have exact days, times. We do have some windows. We all know EMP top of the list, though, to cripple a country. But it doesn't have to be an EMP here. Like, man, a squirrel could jump into a freaking power line in a substation in the wrong spot. All you got to do is take down 5 key substations in America, and this is no knowledge. and you take down the whole East Coast. We know this. Look at the past few years, all the times I've reported on people sabotaging these places, shooting at them, like on dozens and dozens of events. Like, man, it's bound to happen. Anyhow, the best way to combat it is to be off grid, if you ask me. If you want to take this serious, spend some money, put it on credit card, and just pay that off as time goes. Get a loan, pay it off as time goes, and it will pay for itself rather quickly than the first few years, handful of years. Get an off-grid setup, man. It's for a 20-year setup, 20-year warranty setup, all that good stuff. For most of your stuff, spend about 20 grand, and you won't have to worry about this. In terms of getting put in the dark, yeah, you'll have to make your payment and everything, but you would have to make an electric bill payment every month for the rest of your life anyway. So, like, go ahead, pay the credit card off, pay the loan off, or whatever, and then once that's paid off, like, you're never paying a bill again. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the beauty of it. But this is nuts, man. I mean, and if you are off grid and the whole country goes down, like, who are you going to talk to anyway? I mean, you could communicate with the rest of the world, I guess, and like other people, the small pockets of people that do have communication up, but it's going to be a pretty crazy mess here. It's going to happen on Trump's watch. Look at this one. This is a crazy one. Radioactive wasps have been found. This is true. I've seen people tripping and asking questions like, how can this be? It's true. They're saying that they've discovered this nest. It was found by workers at the Savannah River site in Aiken County in South Carolina. Okay. They're saying that this contaminated nest was found on July 3rd, just before 2 p.m. by these radiological operators that were working during routine inspections. They located on a stanchion near a tank in the F area tank farm, a nest. And that nest registered a staggering 100,000 disintegrations per minute, or DPM. That is moderately high radiation. They promptly sprayed the nest to eliminate the wasps, and they bagged them for disposal and to dispose them as radiological waste. They said there was no leaks from those tanks, but they say that if they find another nest or anything like that, and they too have high readings, that there may be a leak on something somewhere. It's like there may be, and like this stuff is ridiculous. But yeah, this is what they're saying at this Savannah River site. And they're trying to come out and say no contamination is detected in the surrounding area or in the ground, but they don't know where it's coming from. Now, with wasps, different wasps use different materials to make their nests. Okay. This is where, using a little bit of brain power and science behind this, you can start to dig into this. Like mud divers, things like that, they'll use mud. Other wasps will use just dirt, organic material. Other insects will use any kind of material, like foreign, like man-made material, while others won't touch it. So this helps them to determine where the radiation's coming from. Because if, like, you've got a bee that's coming in, or a wasp that's making a nest, and they're finding that there's little itty-bitty pieces of concrete in it, that's where it's coming from. You see, that's a big difference. You can, but if it's a bee or an insect that does not use any foreign material, only uses organic, it's a whole different story. So it's just the scientific end on that. It seems like they're lying about some things here, but designated an EPA Superfund site back in the 80s. Billions in taxpayer dollars have been poured into cleaning up this site. And apparently its radioactive remnants are still lurking. Just things to think about if you're in this area in South Carolina, you're unaware of this. All right, an update real quick here on this Manhattan shooting that took place. We covered this as it was unfolding and all that right afterwards. But there was a couple other things I wanted to throw in here in case you guys did miss it. That they were saying that this Shane Tamura was targeting the NFL. That's what they were saying. And he was trying to get to the NFL's floor, but he got on the wrong elevator and ended up on a different floor. Ultimately killing himself, they say, shooting himself in the chest with a long rifle, which some people find suspect. But and they also said that he had a suicide note, and he was citing CTE in this. The suicide note was in his pocket, they say. And that he says he's sorry. He didn't want to kill no one, hurt no one, but like something has to be done. And that apparently he was suffering from the effects of the CTE. And he cites other pro football players like a guy with Terry Long that had CTE, ended up drinking a whole bunch of poison fluid, like radiator fluid or something, and killed himself. And a bunch of other guys have had major CTE brain damage. And just, I don't know, call it coincidence or whatever, but like I log into YouTube and I look in my lineup, and I don't know, man. I start to think more and more that this technology and all this stuff is reading thoughts, because it's the stuff that it's producing and giving me is not anything I've searched or even said, but only thought. And I thought to myself, when it came to the whole story of CTE, I started thinking of fighters, just in my own mind, because of my life that I've lived, fighters I've known, and the stories that I've known about fighters having a lot of brain damage and issues like that. Well, lo and behold, right to the top of the lineup, and it was never like this before ever, were two videos about two different fighters, Chuck Liddell and Nick Diaz, back to back, both wasted, like their brain's gone, and it's CTE. Slurred speech, can't speak right, all this other stuff, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, like, I think I told you guys about this a couple weeks. I know I did, because somebody emailed me flipping out about it, and I get it. It happens to more than just me. It's happening to some of you guys out there. Yeah, CTE is a brain damage disorder where you take too many concussions or blows to the head, and it ends up like messing your motor skills up and everything. A lot of football players suffer from it. A lot of fighters suffer from it. But that's what CTE is. It's a brain damage type of deal. And like when you look at the NFL, like they try to turn another cheek to it, which is garbage. Which, this guy went in there and did all this to raise awareness to this, all this stuff. But, unfortunately, innocent people were killed along the way. And a rest in peace to those people. The whole 33rd floor thing, the ear markings and all that was suspect. What else did they say here? They said that he acted alone, and that if he was sorry for whatever reason, and they played a video like he was a stand-up football player and all this stuff. These events, man, just crazy. You never know what's going to happen out there. So CTE definitely is an issue and a problem. I guess dude didn't hide it. He kept it up front and center, and I'd hate to see this happen anymore. Any type of crap like this, go down, like anyone lose their lives. The NFL needs to be responsible, and the UFC needs to be responsible, big time, because that was a big thing with the clip. Because I let them play. The Chuck one played, and the Nick Diaz one played, and it was just crazy. The parallels, and they were saying Dana White and the UFC, like, they don't care about the damage done to the fighters. They're not there. Like, they just want to write them off and forget about them. And that's just part of the business model of what they do, which is garbage, But these guys got to know this when you get into these sports. When you get into to MMA, when you get into the football, rugby, hockey, anything out there that has heavy, full contact, it's going to beat up your body, man. And taking shots to the head all the time, man, it's going to take a toll at some point. So something to think about. Like, that talked about enough, to be honest, but yeah. I always thought it was just pretty stupid. Like, I don't know, rules of things and this and that. Like, I don't know. I'm going to keep it pushing here. To an update on this white couple that was viciously assaulted and beat down by a mob in Cincinnati. The woman that recovered from this, telling Vivek Ramaswamy that the worst part about this, after waking up and dealing with all the physical, the pain and all this other stuff, is that no one reached out to her from the city or the town to see if she was okay or anything, like, to get her side of the story. Like, none of it. Like, and he's like, that's ridiculous. And it is ridiculous. He's a politician, here, but things are out of control up here. Elon Musk tells the police chief in Cincinnati that, like, look, you clarify the missing context in this whole thing, or you resign. Like, you get like a threat. That's the fight that took place. She said that social media was to blame for all this and tried to deflect all the stuff away. Well, she's been caught and called out for doing this in the past, doing stuff in the past where she's been sued for it and everything else. And, like, now they're not letting it slip. Now she's got Elon's attention, others' attention, and they're saying either she answers the questions or she resigns. And trying to not care about what's going on here. And let's just look at this. The Cincinnati City Council member here openly celebrates these people getting beat down, saying they begged for that beat down on social media, thinking it's funny. And see, this is a problem. Always has been in Cincinnati. And this needs to change. It just seems to have gotten out of control here at this point. Like I said on another stream, back in my day, when I came up, I mean, not just to try to sound like we were some kind of badasses or something, but like, men didn't play that way. Like, if a woman got hit like that and knocked out in the street there, that dude didn't make it. He didn't make it to the other side of the street, right? Whether it was my guys or some other guy, didn't matter. It was men. Men got him and put him out. Knocked out cold, clean, in the street, bleeding from every orifice. It don't matter. That's how it was done many times. Okay, I grew up in Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. These were my stomping grounds. How many fights I've been in my life. How many times I broke my freaking hand on people's dumbs. Like, I'm just telling you from experience. When I see this story, I've been up in these same areas. I've seen mob beat down. I've seen all this crap. And, like, I've seen all kinds of stuff in different cities and different hoods and different stuff. But, like, this one, like, hits home because this was home. And I don't know, man. This type of stuff happens all over the place, though. It's just not get it twisted. The racism needs to go. 2025, period. Um, and me personally, where I came up and how I came up, like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, my people, my crew, like my neighborhood, all that, like where I came up, like we were all different colors. One might been, had some Cuban in him, might have had some Indian in him, might have been Mexican, might have been black. Like we were all different colors, and just that didn't matter. It didn't matter. It's like I guess that's how I don't know. The racism stuff and the Civil War stuff was never going to work on any of us because we all come up from different backgrounds, whether it be from Cuba, whether it be from Germany, whether it be from, wherever. Like that was never a thing. Like when we came up, it was like you roll into a big party or something, a block party, and you meet new faces, new people. It was never like, oh, you're Italian? Like, F you. Like, no, it wasn't like never that. It was like everybody was different. Everybody respected that. And like, that's what made us all unique. And I wouldn't take it back for nothing. It's, I don't know. So I did versus growing up somewhere where like you don't have that. Like, I don't know. I do, I guess, look back and appreciate that fact that I did get to come up in a life in an area where I got to know so many people in different backgrounds. Two people have been arrested on this. Actually, a third. This is the guy that did the sucker punch right there. And he went, and that's the woman that was trying to kick and stomp on her while they were down. That's the guy that hit the woman. That's the woman beater right there. That dude right there. So anybody out there that likes to serve karma, well, here's your guilty party. I know if I seen the man, he'd be getting a word or two from me about striking a woman. That's for sure. But like I said, he would in person right there live when it all broke loose. Like dudes would have never made it out of there. This is the third person arrested in that whole thing. Jermaine Matthews turned himself in. He's being held on a $75,000 bond, charged on aggravated rioting, and $25,000 bond for felony assault. So they caught him. People think he can do these things and slip into the shadows, but in the age of cameras and people and social media and anybody and their mama snitch you out, you get busted. You see, the dude's probably going to go to jail. He's going to serve all this time. He's going to regret it. A large chunk of his life, he's going to go to jail and all this. Like, I take it back to like back in my day. Like, there wasn't all this big social media stuff, and I was coming like this, like to this scale and all this. Like, dude, he rather just took his lickings in the street and learned a lesson and never did it again in his life. And it wouldn't have had to go to jail and all this stuff. But like, it's a different day at a different time, man. We rolled around like regulators. We just said how it was. And that's just me. Like, I don't know. Men were built different. Like stuff like this just didn't fly. Like you just don't have a woman getting hit in front of grown ass men, or that dude smoked. I don't care. Even right now, if he ain't trying to happen in front of me, it doesn't matter. But like a lot of those people from my time are dead and gone out of that area. So, man, the madness, it's only going to get crazier, man. It's not just a black thing. It's not, you may think that because you don't know, but it's not. Like, I spent a lot of time growing up in the hood. Know a lot of black families, got a lot of black friends. Good people. And I know that there's just as many people out of a hood that can get crazy and racist as there is out of a country all white Nazi trailer park. Like, two different spectrums. They both exist. Be honest about it, and you know it. Okay, but it's few and far in between these days. I don't see when I come up where I come up at, like I go anywhere and everywhere, and I don't know, you show respect. Real recognize real is how I always seen it coming up, and I never had any issues, so to speak, in any place I ever went. Me being, my white ass going in the hoods all over the place, all across the country, not knowing anyone. Time and time again, brothers would help me out and get me out of there. Didn't know me for nothing. So, you know, it's salutes to all the riders out there. Way I see it, man, we're in a war against the beast right now, and like, our fellow citizens, every color and background and all this, they're our people, and as long as everyone's here legally and not a pedo, some kind of crazy murderer, and hey, even if you gotta, what if you got a knack to kill, sign up. They'll let you go kill people in another country, right? Like, you gotta flip that script, man. Like, quit going to kill innocent people in other countries. And stop letting your kids sign up for this beast military to go do it. All right. See, where are we at here? Trying to make sure that I can get all this in here. All right. We have a Virginia lawmaker doused in gasoline, set on fire in his office. Pretty crazy here. Danville, Virginia, City Councilman Lee Vogler doused in gasoline, set on fire on Tuesday. The attacker, identified as Shotzi. What? Is Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, 29, of Danville, threw 5 gallons of gasoline on Vogler before setting him on fire. Danville police said the attack appeared to be personal and not related to Vogler's position. It's personal at some level here. It says that Shotzi, Michael Buck Hayes' wife, filed for divorce just 2 weeks ago. They're saying that the attacker forced his way into the magazine's office as Vogler was visiting and poured a 5-gallon container on him and lit him on fire. They say that the man tried to run to the front of the building to get away, but the individual followed him and set him on fire. Like, what in the is going on these days? Just walking in, dousing people, torching them. Like, man, crazy stories all over the place. Here's one. China is countering Tesla's Optimus. And this thing throws punches. Like, this thing, like, is trained to do this. Unitree Robotics R1. This thing weighs 55 pounds. It's equipped with 26 joints for fluid movement. This thing is pretty badass, man, and scary. Does spin kicks. It can do everything. It gets there and box you. It's nuts. Look, they're selling. There's no way. There's no way. Unitree R1 priced from $5,900. Like, dude, the Chinese are gonna try. They're trying to jump out in front of this, in front of everybody. They're trying to make this affordable for everyone, every family. Dude, this is getting crazy. I'm telling you, I warned you about this. Elon and his legions. China's got it. China's not only got millions of people to fight at World War III, now they've got these things. So I want to run this clip. It's a minute long. It shows you what they've got and what they're rolling out here. Again, Unitree, the Chinese. And look at it. You look how easy it gets up off the ground. Look how easy it just gets up. And it takes off running right here, sprinting. Like this thing can box you, kick you. It can do all these things. Like, this is crazy, man. It's just when you get to this level of robotics, yeah, and this probably is all CGI production, but they're just telling you what they've got. Which they should show you. They should show you, like, some of the clips. I think they look different than the others. Like, the others do look like they're like CGI. The others look like they're actually it's standing in the field. Either way, this is what they're saying they got and what they're pushing out there. So it's not Elon. It's like, how do you stop one of these things? How do you stop it? You got to park like a truck on top of it, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's when you see these things. You guys might have missed the clip, but these things are roaming around. Not this model, but the robots are roaming around all over the place now. And there's certain cities that have these in the streets. They're everywhere, and they're doing facial scans. They're getting your heartbeat. They're getting every single thing about you, all your biometrics. They're getting everything. Yeah, so you just never know. Yeah, people keep saying CGI. This clip could have been CGI, but the freaking robot is real. Okay? They got a real display. It's a real model. It's a real thing. So the video might have been CGI, but the thing is real. Jeez, Pete, man. This is pretty crazy. Talk about cover up. When you can go back and you can have things deleted out of the Wayback Machine, well, it's usually the deep state. And in this instance, it's exactly what happened. Peter Strzok, all of his tweets got deleted. Now, of course, he's connected deep into the FBI, into the deep state. Well, someone went in behind the scenes and also deleted all of his stuff from the Wayback Machine. So you can't go in there and access it like you can most stuff. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, Boston Dynamics is another one. Yeah, run it over with a tank. That's what you're going to have to do. A bulldozer or something, heavy equipment. You got to park on top of it. Huh? Listen to this. All right, this is another big story here of the night, man. And this is just a mind-blowing story, man. Like, it's the FBI, a big castle. It's got hidden rooms in it, in a dungeon, and all this. Like, makes you wonder when you hear stories like this. Kash Patel is saying that he has found thousands of Russian hoax documents in what they call burn bags, and that they were in a secret room. Like, what? They were in a secret room at the FBI. One of the documents in the burn bags included the classified annex of John Durham report that includes the underlying intelligence he investigated. CIA Director John Ratcliffe is expected to declassify the annex to Durham's final report and send it to Grassley, who will release it to the public. This sounds like a skit, a bunch of crap. You're going to tell me you found this hidden room no one ever knew existed in the FBI all of a sudden, and it's got all this stuff that just so happens to go right along with all the Russian hoax stuff that they are just now pushing. How convenient. Like, get out of here, dude. You guys are liars. You're garbage. You suck at what you do. It's all falling apart. You can't even put out anything good now that's going to stick. All the credibility's gone. It's done for them at this point, as far as I can see. Hey, Steve, you be safe in your travels. Illuminati, yes. And just be safe out there. Be safe. Much love. God bless. And Trump calls for an investigation here into Pelosi. Tacos was laughing. He said, I said, instead of tsunami last night, I said salami first. And hey, everybody's perfect, man. It happens sometimes, right? It just made me laugh. I'm gonna play Trump on Pelosi. Go arrest her, chump. You're the Don of this whole thing, of this mafia. Go arrest her. Go arrest Hillary, Obama, all of them. You won't do it. You can't do it. You're a fraud. You piece of dog.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Hawley introduced legislation that would ban members of Congress from owning or trading individual stocks. It extends to the president and vice president. Are you in favor of that legislation?
Well, I like it conceptually. I don't know about it, but I like it conceptually. And, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. So in that sense, I'd like it, but I'd have to really see I study these things very carefully, and this just happened. So I'll take a look at it. But conceptually, I like it. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated, because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. How did that happen? It happened by she knows exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be announced. She buys stock, and then the stock goes up after the announcement's made.
Then
And
do
she ought to be
something, chump.
investigated.
Ridiculous. Look, she's guilty. Now, if you guys forget, she was directly connected to insider trading with the CEO that got shot. The United Healthcare CEO that got shot by Luigi Mangione. Yeah. It's known. She was insider trading and doing deals with that guy, and that guy got assassinated. Why did he get assassinated? Why did he get shot? That's why. And we already know these things just from being investigator oriented, like trying to figure these things out. Like we figure a ton of these things out from a mile away. Like, go arrest them, man. Like, it won't happen. It's just like, of all the people the Clintons have taken out, and like they're never going to get charged on it. Here's one. Kamala Harris rules out running for California governor. And guess what this does? It opens the door for a third run at the presidency. Like, dude, like, I don't know. They get enough people hating Trump. It doesn't really matter what we say or anything else. They're going to do whatever it is that they do. They're going to run her and Gavin or something. Like, I don't know. It's pathetic. There probably would be a third party step up into the fray. Elon's by then officially, even though he hasn't officially registered nothing yet. Dude, much love, Susie Q. Did I miss something in the chat? I was just going through here trying to make sure. Getting a refresh here real quick. Everything was flying. And I'm going to jump to the next one. Trump says that Epstein poached women from his Mar-a-Lago, including sex trafficking victim Virginia Giuffre. Now, did you guys know this? Did you know this? Did you know that Virginia Giuffre as a young, innocent teenager, was working in Mar-a-Lago for Trump first before she was poached, as he puts it, invited by Epstein to his island and all this. And basically he's saying that Epstein stole her, That's his exact words. For people that don't know, this puts Virginia Giuffre in Trump's circle before Epstein. Before Epstein. And he admits out of his own mouth that he snagged her from him. The same woman that held all these cards and just so happened to die this year. Get out of here, man. They got her. I had another audio clip I tried to find for tonight. I listened to it earlier today. I don't know where I listened to it at. I could not find it. It was Epstein saying that his exact words were, I was best friends basically with Trump for 10 years. 10 years is what he said. Best friends. How do you think he knows Melania? How do you think he even married Melania? It was through Epstein. Dude.
We think pretty soon. Mr. President, Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. Just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken. And it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad. But that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
What did they do? In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world at Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told them, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen...
and he says out of here.
Virginia,
so that's what he's trying to blame his whole falling out with Epstein over. A guy that he was best friends with for over a decade. All these parties, looking at hot women and all this stuff. And you think that Trump isn't part of all this? Get out of here, man. You got to be one of the most naive, gullible people out there in the world to believe that this guy's guilty of sin. You can tell by everything he does, his body language, everything he says. Just digs the ditch even deeper every time. So Virginia Giuffre and other young girls were working his spa in Mar-a-Lago. Like, what were you doing? Like, all these underage girls, huh? Working your spa at Mar-a-Lago, huh? You got pissed off just because Epstein stole them from you? Like, what were you doing with them? Like, like, you didn't get out of here. Get out of here. To think that Trump didn't know all this stuff. Like, I often wonder how many people Donald Trump has overseen or knows about that has been knocked off. Killed. Stephanie, thank you. Write your name on a piece of paper and you're gone. Now here's something very interesting. There was reports that apparently the FBI has all the footage of the Epstein thing, the missing minutes and all this, but this right here was different. This right here is a clip. It's from a different angle. And it was overlooked largely because you can't see a whole lot. But if you look, there is a mysterious orange shape that goes down the stairs to where Epstein's cell was located at this exact same time in all this. And you can barely see it, but like, it's there. It is orange going down the stairs here. They're saying that it's a person in an orange uniform, in an orange inmate jumpsuit. They think that this is the person that probably picked him off. And look, his cellmate tried to kill him right before this. We know this. And Epstein said it. He's like, a dude tried to kill me and all this other stuff. And the guy that they had in there was a known killer. Like, man, was this him coming down the steps? That's what people are saying. Slipping out the way, getting out of there. Is this the closest that we're going to get to having it? Maybe somebody did. Somebody slipped down in an orange jumpsuit right there coming down the steps, and they caught a glimpse of it off this other camera, which no one thought anything of, but it's there. Because they're not perfect. They make mistakes all the time. Let's see where we're at here. Coming up on top of the hour, gotta cut this down. Netherlands list Israel as a threat. Not Netanyahu now announces plans to annex Gaza. Okay, so if you don't know what they're planning to do here, they are trying to take every single bit of it. They're claiming everything and running them to the ocean. And they said they were going to try to put 2 million people in one small little area and keep them there. And that's pretty much, they want them gone completely. We all know this. But this is nonstop. The bearing down on them, killing people. So Putin reaches out to Bibi. Bibi's got to be the evilest man I've ever seen on this planet. He's got more souls collected on his belt than anyone. He's killed more people than any world leader that you know. This man right here has. Do you realize this? Bibi the butcher? The butcher Bibi? Netanyahu? This guy is responsible for more deaths than anyone that you've ever known in your lifetime. This man right here. This facts, Jack. That's insane. He probably holds a world record. You want to be real about it and honest about it? Huh. It's insane. People want to talk about Hitler and Mussolini and any of these other guys. Nah, you got a modern day genocidal maniac right here in front of you. Everyone's just turning a cheek to it. He's responsible for dropping more bodies. That Mossad's responsible for killing more people, more famous people, more than anything, more people than you even know. More than the CIA. It's always them, hand in hand with them, that help pull it off. Who are the guys that were down there laughing and dancing on 9/11? Mossad. And that's all on video. Even the mainstream reported it, and you can't take it back. But if you ask Trump, they were dancing Muslims. Ah, liar. Piece of crap. Where were you, Trump? Oh, yeah, it was a high rise watching it all go down. Front row. Piece of. We've been sold out. Check this out. They're about to replace Zelensky. Vogue magazine just put this murderer in the magazine. And look at him, all GQ'd out and all this, trying to make him look cool. This is the guy they're about to replace Zelensky with. They're letting it be known right now. So there's about to be a switcheroo. They're done with Zelensky. And Trump is trying to play hardball with Russia. I don't know how well this is going to work out for him. But he's saying no more Mr. Nice Guy. That you've got like 10 days to do something to Russia. It went from like 50 days into 2 weeks to like 10 days. And the threats are flying. Kremlin slams this and says these are nothing but steps toward war. And then they turn around and they unleash more missile attacks on Ukraine. I can't stand Lindsey Graham. Sellout piece of crap warmonger. That rat. Talk about treason. And these goons that should be arrested for selling us out. Right there's one of them front and center. Deep state all over him. Lindsey Graham. World's a stage. This is All right. We throw this one in here. I've got a couple more here. We've got an illegal alien arrested here in Kentucky for murdering a heroic teen boy who was attempting to stop the migrant from raping his mother. Yeah, this Gildardo Armando Martinez, 36, arrested for the fatal shooting of his girlfriend's son, Luis Lopez, when the teen tried to defend his mom on July 20th. Lopez's younger sister, I believe she was pistol whipped by the man as well. Homeland Security says that on the 20th, he arrived at the apartment shared with this lady, Alidia Lopez, and he attempted to rape her. After she fended him off, he assaulted her by biting her in the left hand and the right armpit and injuring her arm. Her 15-year-old son, Luis Lopez, tried to intervene and was shot by this man 3 times. This piece of... I just want to throw this water bottle at the screen and start... Like... This pisses me off so bad. I hope somebody gets him. So he took this young individual's life that was trying to defend his mother from rape. This illegal migrant, this piece of crap, murderer, rapist. Again, get him out of here, dude. Just get him out of here. Like, my blood boils, man, for the soul of that young boy. It's as rider as it gets, young man. Defending mom to the death. I salute you. Rest in peace, young man. Fly high. Pisses me off so bad. I want to throw out there here in the end and rebuff this whole executive order that Trump just signed on homelessness. This is not what some people think it is at face value. They're saying, what is wrong with him getting people put into a drug house to get them help? There's nothing wrong with that. But that's not what is happening here with your small fucking mind. Again, they are going after the poor, period. Anyone that's homeless, okay? You can't treat that in a treatment center, okay? They're sending these people to camps, call them whatever kind of treatment center you want, but for a poor person living in their vehicle on the street or not even have a vehicle, that are just in the street poor, they are targeted in this. It's not just people on drugs. Okay, there are homeless veterans, homeless people all across the country right now that are not on drugs. Okay, they are targeted in this. You understand this? So this is wrong. Americans are getting rounded up because they are poor. Do you understand this? Look at California going a step further. They restrict RV parking in an effort to combat homelessness. So what if you have to live in an RV? It's better than the street, right? Well, no, they don't like that neither. They don't want you to survive. They don't want you anywhere. You got an RV, you want to live in it, you got to park it somewhere. They don't want you parking it nowhere. All right, get rid of the RV. Now you're just standing there. They don't want you even standing there. They're rounding you up and taking you to camps now. Your Gentile Messiah has ordered it. These dumbasses around here not even seeing it. All this just pisses me off so bad. I can't wait till the Most High comes back and lights this place up. Can't wait. Oh, what? You'll wake up tomorrow and go through another hellish day, go to another 9 to 5, another day as a slave, another day of all the lies, murder, torture. I'm like sick of it. Like, I'm ready for 1,000 years in a peaceful realm with peaceful souls that earned it, that proved it. It's not going to lie, cheat, and steal and do all this other stuff. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm so over this place, and I'm gonna die. I'm gonna leave out. I gotta fight the fight for all my friends and family. I'm here. I'm putting in the work. But like when it's done, it's done. I ain't gonna complain. Like it's done. Like what else are you gonna do anyway? Like this bring on judgment. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I hope it happens while I'm alive in the flesh. I hope the grand spectacle happens. Hope the return happens while I'm breathing, because that would be the most legendary thing to say if you were a soul. To me, anyway. If you were to live 1,000 lives, what would be the most legendary? Probably the end show, final act, grand finale. Yeah, I say so, and it feels like, that's where we're at. Antichrist. Don't be so hung up on putting it on one person. I'm more into the belief that it is a massive spiritual presence that embodies all these characters. That they all bow down to it. So your Trumps, your Elons, your all of them, all across the globe, they all bow down to it. And obviously they've anointed, these rabbis, Jewish rabbis, they on camera, they've said they've anointed Trump as their chosen one. So, I mean, that holds some weight. Regardless, he is their Gentile Messiah. They call him a Messiah. Are you kidding me? Like, that's where we're at. No other time in my life has any man been dubbed Messiah. By these clowns, especially. Clowns that like to suck babies. I'll save that part out. Cut that out. But you get it. It's true. That's what the enemy does. The enemy's so evil. I showed you the youth over there earlier. The Al-Aqsa Mosque up there. The kids that were up there. The rabbis, youth that they brainwashed to go up there and do spells on it and all that. All those people are so hateful. If you were trying to go to Israel right now, just like some of the brothers and sisters that I follow, that share the social media, when they try to walk through talking about Jesus through the Holy Land, they get spit on by these kids, by these people. Spit on. How's that about your Holy Land for any of you people that live in a fantasy land? Oh, I love those people. They're God's people. And this, God's people. We'll go there and have God's people spit on you. You know, wake the fuck up. We're all God's people. You've been lied to. Fooled, tricked. They are not the real. They are fakes. They are of, as it's written, God told you, they are of the synagogue of Satan. Don't get it twisted. You'll tell them by their fruits. As I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I will see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. God willing. Much love. God bless. Thank you again, Steve. Safe travels, my friend. Also, thank you tonight, Boomer, for the coffees. Kathy. Thank you, guys. Much love. Appreciate it. That's why I ride against the